So, not only is Trump hot for a 70-something-year-old, but I think he's quite clever, actually. And I wanted to know if anyone else thinks this, because when I see how he's got the little keebler elf working for him as his tool, and yeah, he is a tool. That is Jeff Sessions, the keebler elf, as AKA known as. He's a tool, and he's not a sharp tool. He's a very dull, kind of just dumb enough to do the dirty work. What do I mean? Well, I actually think that Trump is trying to break the federal, the feds, the ones that don't want to legalize marijuana. And I'm thinking because if you wanted marijuana to be legal in all states, how would you do it? If you have the feds saying no, they want to keep it, scheduled as a harmful drug, and then you got the states saying, well, but we need it because we need the revenue, we need the taxes, and people need it because, well, a lot of people need it for medication. They don't want to buy pharmaceuticals, which kill millions of people every year. They want to take something that doesn't kill them, and a lot of people just want to have fun. I don't see nothing wrong with it. I myself, on occasion, will smoke a little bit of marijuana, not very often because, well, for one thing, personally, I can't function well on it. I can't work. I definitely can't work on it. I can do house chores or gardening, but as far as actually working and making money, no way. I get more what I already am, which is somewhat like a loner and reclusive. I get even more that way when I'm high, and I don't even want to look at anyone, let alone talk to anyone. And that's very dysfunctional. So I do not get high often because I actually enjoy working. Oddly enough, I like my work and I like to work. So when I get high, I realize that's the day I'm not going to work if I ever do. So it's not often, but not to get off the topic. Anyway, so how would you do that? The way you would do that is you would get your little Keebler elf to come out and say that, he's against it. That way everyone gets all angry and riled up because this is what you need. If you look at all through history, anything that's ever changed, it takes a war, actually, a civil war. It takes protest. It takes fighting. It takes anger. If you look at, for example, how did gay people get their rights? They did it through anger. They had riots and they all stood together and they protested. So anytime you want change, you have to create like a breaking point where people get angry and say enough is enough. So I believe that's what's going on with the pot thing. I believe that Sessions is just trying to get all people all riled up and angry. So this will like break it to a point where it just breaks, and the feds will like just cave in and say, okay, well, we can't handle all this negativity and states getting angry and outraged and people being outraged about it. It's a lot about politics and public perception as well. You have to get the right public perception of it all and get people, because see, that's how people, they're sheeples, okay? Like if sheeple see more and more sheeple standing up and getting angry about something, a lot of those sheeples will be like, oh, okay, I should get angry too, because they just like kind of like follow along. There's those types, there's the leader types, and then there's the negative types, or the types that just want to like stay back in and 100, 200 years ago way of thinking. They're usually like really the old types, like kind of like the Sessions type, I would say, and they're kind of like dull and not very bright. So yeah, that's the way I see it, and I think Trump is so hot that it's like, no, I would not marry him, even though he's got millions of dollars, because money, like you can only have like so much money. Like, yeah, sure, it's nice to have money, but it gets to a point where you're like, "Well, what would I rather have? Would I rather have all this money and have to wake up to an old 70-year-old guy that's maybe he's got bad breath, it stinks really bad, even though he is kind of hot, he's not like that hot. He's not like so hot that'd be like, oh, I'll marry you. No, he's just hot for a 70-year-old. I mean, come on, how many other 70-year-olds are, in fairly good shape? He's not too fat and he's not too gray. I mean, yeah, his hair is yellow, but it's better than gray. And I mean, yeah, I would do him for, oh, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20,000. I mean, because that's only fair. I mean, if he did pay a porn star, what, 130,000 to have sex with, okay. So I'm not a well-known porn star, but he's rich enough. He could probably afford 20,000. And you know what? He's probably really easy. You'd probably just have to. He'd probably do it one time and he'd be done. He'd like fall asleep on you or something like that. Yep. So that's my type. Never had a bad date for a businessman. All businessmen have always been great clients. So I don't see what the problem is. Take care.